Hello and welcome to What is EFT and How Can It Change Your Life? I'm Maria Bonita. I'm a holistic health and EFT practitioner and I help women get into alignment. So what is EFT? EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's also known as tapping, and it involves literally tapping on certain meridians or energy points within your body to release negative emotions and also physical pain. So it's based on, the most similar thing would be acupuncture, and this is sometimes known as psychological acupressure. It's sometimes known as acupuncture without needles, right? But really, it's based on Chinese medicine, ancient Chinese medicine from 5,000 years ago that believes that within our body we have energy channels or energy meridians, and by tapping on them, right, we're able to release this negative energy, because EFT believes that every negative emotion is based on a disruption within your energy system. And when you can find those disruptions and you can get to them, you can release them really quickly. So EFT actually has been around only since the 90s, and it's based on something else called TFT. TFT is thought field therapy. I personally use both with clients. I use a combination of EFT and TFT. What is the difference? TFT has a specific formula, so a specific algorithm. So if you're dealing with anger on an issue, it will be a specific sequence of tapping points. Whereas with EFT, it's the same sequence. Some people do it a little bit differently, but usually, start tapping on the head, the eyebrows, the sides, right? And you go through it, asking questions, repeating certain phrases, until you kind of have these aha moments and you have clarity and you're able to let go of certain thoughts, certain beliefs, certain emotions, right? I personally believe that TFT is really, really effective and really good. You have to know a little bit more. It's a little bit more difficult to do. You have to kind of do it with a practitioner. Whereas EFT is something that the basics anyone can learn in 5 minutes. There are loads of EFT videos. I've got some here on YouTube that you can just tap along and practice with. So anyone can have access to EFT, whereas TFT, you kind of need a bit more guidance and a bit more understanding to be able to use it successfully, right? So I believe that as EFT believes that our whole body is filled with energy, everything is energy, and when you're able to shift these things, you can feel so much relief so quickly. And this is why I find EFT the most amazing, life-changing thing. It's because it can shift things fast. I want to give you one example of how EFT has changed my life. I first started using EFT out of curiosity because I knew it helped with anxiety. I did it a few times with a friend and I was like, wow, I'm not anxious anymore, I'm not feeling nervous anymore, there's something to this. So I wanted to try it out a bit further, and I was using it for limiting beliefs and that kind of thing. When I was working with a practitioner, which is if you want to get the most from it, working face to face with one person really does shift things fast. So if you're someone that's done it just online and you haven't noticed a difference, I would say give it a chance with someone else. EFT has a really high success rate of like 80-90% when it's done the right way. So when I was working with this practitioner, I was struggling with what I didn't know was at the time, which I now know was PTSD. So a few years ago, I had a really traumatic experience. I had an abortion in South America. Me and my husband were told we couldn't have kids. We changed our diets. We got pregnant. 6 weeks. I was only 6 weeks pregnant. I decided to have a termination. I was told it probably would be, a complicated pregnancy. All these things. Anyway, so it was done in South America, in Colombia, not in the UK where I'm born. And so the procedure was done in a very different way. Even today, without going into too many details, I still have questions. I still don't understand why I was treated in the way, why I had an operation as well as being given other things. Anyway, it left me with PTSD. For me, this was flashbacks. This was whenever I had that hospital smell, that I would feel nauseous. Whenever I would see certain people that reminded me of it, I would feel like I was about to have a panic attack. And so by the time this happened, I'd done enough kind of yoga and enough meditation to be able to kind of take myself out of it. So when I felt like a panic attack coming on, I would take the deep breaths and I would let it go. So the PTSD that I had was not something that was like crippling me and stopping me from working like I know it is for some people, right? But I couldn't get rid of it. It wouldn't go away. I still had the flashbacks and I didn't know how to stop doing that. I would still get nauseous when I smelt certain things and I didn't know how to get rid of it. And so I spoke to the EFT practitioner. We did one session of EFT, only 1 hour. And since that day, I've never had a flashback. I've never had I've not had any of this anxiety come up. I've not had the smells triggering me, none of that stuff. And I was shocked because even after that session, I didn't know what the impact was going to feel. I just knew I had to release some of the emotions that I had around the abortion. I didn't know what else was going to come up. I didn't realize it was going to get rid of all of those kind of after symptoms or whatever you want to call them. And so that has completely transformed my life. And since that day, I've been dedicated to sharing this because I know that it can change your life as well. Other issues that you can use for EFT. EFT can pretty much be used on absolutely anything. Like I say, it has a high success rate, but it might not work for some people. There will be 1 or 2 people around there where it might not work very much, or it might work a little bit, but not enough to resolve whatever issue it is. Also, you want to be sure that you're working with someone that is skilled. Sometimes if someone's just done like a little online course and they haven't studied it very deeply, they might not be able to get you to where you want to go. So you want to be careful about who you work with as well. But really, it can be applied to anything. I've had, for example, one client who came to me because she was binge eating and she was eating emotionally. And when we started clearing the binge eating, the emotional eating, we realised it was connected to grief from losing her parents. And so she felt that if she stopped binge eating, she would somehow be disrespecting her parents because that habit came from her parents, right? And so when we went through this, we were able to clear so much grief. And she said to me, you know what? I'm so grateful I'm not binging anymore. But if anything, I feel like the work we did on the grief has had a bigger impact on my life and has helped me more, and I wasn't expecting that. And that's what the interesting thing about EFT is. You can start tapping on one thing and can have secondary benefits. So I've seen this where when I've been tapping, I noticed that my skin clears up, and I'm not tapping on acne, right? Because I've had acne for a while, and I've been able to clear it mostly, and like I noticed that when I'm tapping regularly, my skin gets clearer, right? There's no connection. I'm not tapping saying please clear skin, it just happens. And I know a lot of people who have similar things, so they might start tapping for one thing, like a limiting belief or an emotion, and then they notice that, oh, you know what, I used to have migraines, I'm not having migraines anymore. And that's what happens. That's why EFT can change your life, and it's why it's so amazing. And it's also why people can't quite put it into a box. You know, I can't say to someone as a practitioner, because I'm not a doctor, right? I can't say to someone, you know what, I can completely heal your anxiety, right? Because that would be technically taking a medical term. I can completely heal your PTSD. But EFT can do that for a lot of people, right? There are not enough studies on it. The only studies have been observational studies where they ask someone when they walk into like a workshop, like, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? And the person's like, I'm at a 3. They leave the workshop, they're like, I'm at a 10. But you need to feel it for yourself. I truly believe that EFT is one of those things where you feel it for yourself and you know that if it works for you. I've had multiple clients now, where in just one session they've stopped binge eating. One session, and even I that I've had that experience with PTSD, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how is that possible? I've had clients release guilt that they've held on to for 17 years. Another one that was guilt that was held on to for 10 years. That even though logically they realised they didn't have anything to feel guilty about, they just couldn't let it go. It was just in their body, right? And that's the other thing. A lot of us, we carry emotions, we carry traumas within our bodies. And when you go to a traditional therapist and you talk about it, you might get some insights, you might feel a little bit better, but it's still there. And EFT releases it from your body and it shifts it. And that's why it's so, so powerful. The other thing that I've been kind of dabbling with recently, which has been a bit of a surprise to me, was around money blocks. I created an EFT sequence around releasing money blocks for some of my clients who were, well, I was getting messages from people being like, I want to work with you, but I don't know if I have any money right now. Like, money's an issue for me. And I thought, EFT could do something for that. So I shared this EFT video for money blocks. And one client, she signed up to work with me. And the next day, she manifested all of the money back. She was like, I got a check in the post, all of the money back. Similar thing happened to me, where I did the tapping sequence for my clients, right? I was doing it like to write it out, and I was organizing it. That same day, I got $100 sent to me. The next day, I got $500 sent to me. A few days later, some money that I owed someone, they just told me, you know what, I'm just going to give it to you as a gift. Like, don't pay me back. And I was like, something's happening here. And it's the same thing, because we think that money is like just what I have in the bank account. It's just a fact. It's how many hours I work. But really, money is stored within our body. It's the beliefs that we have are stored within our body. And most of us, well, not most of us, but a lot of us are brought up in this like lack mindset of, you know, like money is hard to come by. If you're rich, you're greedy. These kinds of things. And so these beliefs keep us small, and they don't allow us to connect with the flowy, free energy of money. So money has been another thing that I've been helping people with recently. And so it really can have such a big impact on you. All the people that I've helped around sugar, emotional eating, binge eating, EFT, it's fantastic. I'm still, you know, like I just showed you the money thing, like I'm still finding things that EFT can work for. So I hugely encourage you to give it a go. If you're dealing with something, watch a video online, send me a message. I'm doing, I do one-off sessions now and again for EFT. Just speak to me and I'll send me a DM and we can have a little chat and look into it. But seriously, if you are struggling with something, give EFT a chance, give it a go. You never know what it can help you. And even if it doesn't help, there's no negative side effects. Unlike, you know, medication and stuff like that, there's no negative side effects to EFT, so just give it a go. So today, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what is EFT, emotional freedom technique, how it can change your life, and if you have any questions, please send me a message. I love to speak to you. Bye-bye.